All right, guys, episode 7 of Cleats to Seats. We're coming off of Christmas and getting ready for New Year's Eve here at the Sanders house, man. We didn't waste any time putting up our Christmas decorations, and we've already broke out the Mardi Gras down here. So we're based out of Mobile, Alabama, and the Sanders family is excited for Mardi Gras coming up. Santa treated us really good. Beckett and Ridge were very spoiled. Updates in the family. Wife got a new PR on squat. Check that out right here. Come on, one rep's all you got. Oh, come on, come on, come on, come on. Pretty nice, huh? Been working hard. Proud of her. Man, we're just kind of in the break right now, which I love. Is we're losing track of days, so I don't even know what day I'm recording this on, which I love, man. It's 2 weeks off for Christmas break, and we'll finish up this week. We got the college football semifinals coming up the 31st and the 1st, so that's something to get excited about. If you want to watch Behind the Plains or the Tide Talk, all that's kind of getting posted separate, so we can keep these episodes short and you can kind of watch those whenever you want to watch them. And the same with this. Kind of gave the coaches a break from hammering them or DMing them and asking them if they want to come on. And I actually ended up working out really good. After Christmas, I got to talk to a guy that actually whipped up on my Ayrton Purple Cats in the first round of the playoffs. So excited today to go to the press box. We're going to have Coach McDonald on. First time ever speaking with him. He has a great head on his shoulders. Don't let his voice fool you, man. He's got a deep, strong voice, but the dude is 28 years old and one of the youngest head coaches in the state. But don't let that fool you either, because he's not only the youngest head coach in the state, he's almost one of the most winningest head coaches in the state, because he took Lanett High School to the state championship this past year. And we sat down and talked, and it was a really good talk. I enjoyed getting to know him, and excited for you to hear what he has to say, man. So we'll go out to the press box with him, and then I'll see you next time on Cleats to Seats. And remember, if you love the game, you're in the right seat. All right, guys, going back out to the press box this week, we got Coach McDonald from Lanett High School, the 2A state contending champions, man. You went to the state championship. You turned it around at Lanett. You were voted Auburn Opelika Small Schools Coach of the Year, which I love because I'm from a 1A high school. And that's something else I brought you on, too, for Coach McDonald. Before we even get into it, I keep hyping you up. You got two of my teams, man. The Barber County Jaguars. You let them come up there and you whipped up on them. And then my Ayrton Purple Cats come to play y'all in the first round, and you just knock them out, man. Dang. Come on, dude. That was our year.
Yeah, sorry about that, dog. But, yeah, I actually talked to Coach Kilcrease about that. You play in there and stuff like that. He mentioned your name, stuff like that. So, man, I appreciate you having me on. A lot of those honors, that you mentioned would not be feasible without great coaches and players. So I'm just really, really blessed, especially, kind of being one of the youngest head coaches in the state. So that's pretty neat. Just being able to be in this position. A lot of guys don't get to, and so I'm really, really blessed and honored.
Man, that's awesome. So, hey, before we jump into Lanett and all the things you've done there, let's learn about Coach McDonald, man. Tell us about you, man, like your family, your high school where you went, and kind of your coaching career and your journey where you've been.
Yeah. So, I'm married to my high school sweetheart. Her name is Madison. We have a daughter. Her name's Marin. We reside down here on Lake Hardin, right above Auburn, and so been here my whole life. I was born and raised in Lanett. My dad went to Lanett. I actually went to Valley, which is the rival right down the road, and moved over to play for my high school head coach, Ronnie Sykes. He's a Hall of Famer for the state. He moved over to a private school. He retired from Lanett and played for him at Springwood School. And so, a little private school there in Lanett, and was able to play for him, really learned kind of a lot about myself. He kind of forced me into education. He kind of told me I need to be a coach and pursue this, and so I did, and just kind of kept going with it all throughout. I had opportunities to play baseball in college, and decided to, you know, just hang it up. My shoulder was kind of beat up and stuff like that, and so I just went to school and went to Auburn. Graduated from Auburn University. Was able to get out of there and started working. While I was at Auburn, I coached at Springwood School again, where I went and coached with who was our offense coordinator there, Thomas Hill. He got me started and allowed me to kind of coach the quarterbacks. I moved into the offensive line my second year. My third year with him, I kind of kept going with the quarterbacks, moved back out there with them, and my last year there, I called the plays. I was a quarterback coach, offense coordinator there, and finished up at Auburn. When I got out at Auburn, I went to Smith Station High School, 7A, right up the road. Got in there with Coach Mike Glisson. He kind of really taught me how to, the business part of it, and how to lead young men. And I thank Coach a lot for getting me into that. And so.
Yeah, I like Coach. I got to coach with him at Auburn High School.
Did you really? Okay.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
Yeah, man. Yeah, top tier person. Just really, he saw something in me that I don't think I really saw myself, to be honest with you, at that level. We kind of had to grind through a lot. That's a tough place, and just a lot of gritty kids. But when I got out of there, Coach Story, I was there for 2.5 years. Coach Story called me and asked if I want to come back to Lanett, come back home. And like I said earlier, my dad played there. My granddaddy was a principal there. My mom graduated from there, so got a lot of ties. And so I went back up there and I called plays for him. And then when he retired the next year, Coach Siegel came in. He was the former offense coordinator, and I served as the offense coordinator for him. And we were really young those 2 years. They had just graduated my first year when I got there. They had just graduated 24 seniors off of a 2A football team. And you being in a small ball when you play, that's a lot of people.
It is. Yeah, it is.
Senior class, and it really at a lot of levels it is. And we had a really young group coming up, and they really pushed us. And they taught myself a lot, and especially when I took them over. Those were kind of my kids, I'd seen them come up from 8th grade, and so last year taking over for Coach Siegel, it was a tough journey. My first year I learned a lot about myself, learned a lot about kind of what not to do, and but this year it prepared me for this year and leading these guys and getting us to where we were.
So, okay, that was a lot of good info. I like that you were a quarterbacks coach and then you got to do some O-line too. Yeah. I think that's big time. Yeah. So right now, you being the head coach at Lanett, this is your second year being head coach. Are you still coaching a position group, calling plays, or have you taken a step back and somebody else is doing it, or how's that working?
Yeah, so kind of last year I kind of took a step back from the offense, and I had to kind of help a lot with the defense. I had to do a lot on the defense side of the football. We kind of lost a couple coaches there, and so I had to jump into that and really learned a lot. To be honest with you, I had a lot of good older coaches on that side of the football, and just wanted to be able to help them out. I didn't have a ton, you know what I mean. So, but offensively, I kind of felt pretty good about what we had over there, so I was going to go help those guys. And we had a funky little transitional period there. With my DC actually moving to the assistant principal role literally the week before our first game. And so I had to go over there and call the plays for that last year, being a guy that I was able to hire, and we handled that. But this year I kind of, was able to bring in a former DC at Lanett when they were winning it. And, Charlie Williams came back on for us and was a, big time key piece for us. And he allowed us to kind of maneuver coaches to fit spots that we needed them to fit. And this year I kind of was able to go back to the offense side of the ball a little bit. Offense coordinator was Quay Boyd, younger guy, played at West Alabama. And just a really, really top tier, good football coach. And so we were able to do that. But to answer your question, I still have a pretty big hand in the O-line room. Me and another coach of ours, he does O-line, D-line for us. And so we kind of handle that role together, Kobe McCants, but he's been really good for me, and it's kind of like an older brother. I've known him my whole life. So
shout out Kobe.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, he's a really good person and a volunteer coach for us, and so just played at Alabama A&M. He's just a really good person. So just really glad to continue to be able to have a hand in the O line.
So hey, this is kind of cool because you were at Smith Station 7A,
Yeah,
and now you're at Lanett 2A.
yeah.
So you probably at Smith Station 7A, and you got double-digit assistant coaches probably. Talk to everybody around the state. Like, what's it look like at Lanett coaching wise? Because you talk about having a volunteer coach that probably goes out there just because he loves Lanett football or has got respect for you and ain't getting paid a dime. What is like assistant coaches like? What's your numbers and stuff like that? What's that look like?
Yeah, so on the varsity staff, we got 10 guys, and
That's still pretty good.
it's really good. Like
Yeah.
it's a really good staff too. Good mix. A lot of young coaches on it. To be honest with you, a lot of good energy, and the older
Yeah,
coaches.
that's good to have, man. Because I
Yeah,
don't know about you, I'm transitioning into like not the old coach, but like the middle aged coach. So like
yeah,
I have energy, but not like I used to. So like I like having those young guys too that
yeah,
has all the energy. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah. No, you're right though. Like that's kind of how I feel about myself. To be honest with you, I'm kind of moving into that. I guess being a head coach puts years on your life is what I've been told. But no, but yeah, no, we were really young, staff wise. I would say probably 6, 7 of the 10 were under 35, and then you only had 3 guys that were old. So I guess you could call it, but they're under 50. They're in their 40s, and so I had one guy that was 50, 53. So like he's been around a lot. Been a lot of places, and
Those are the best to have around, though. Like I'm
oh
telling you,
yeah,
this is like the old heads. That's even
yes,
like anything I got. That's I'm calling somebody that's way older than me to ask them. You know what I mean? I'm
no
not
doubt.
asking somebody the same age. I don't know.
No, no doubt. Yeah, and I mean, and so like for us, and for myself, having Coach Story still around as the AD has been really good for me. He's a good mentor for me, and obviously a legend. He's won 100+ ball games, two state championships, coached some top tier players that are playing in the NFL and starting in the NFL, and so just good to have him around too. Considering a lot of us are really young, and I think just going forward, like you said though, the energy part of it was big for us though. On offense we were kind of really young, coaching staff wise, and then defensively we were kind of older, and but I think it was a really good mix for us.
That's good. So like you just talked about your AD that you have. There's so many roles that come with a head coach. You have to be over academics. You're making sure the weight room is right. You're making sure practice is going right. Is it easy for you to delegate to your assistant coaches? And and I know that's kind of a trust thing of building trust with somebody. But how much of that do you delegate, or do you just kind of put it all on yourself?
Yeah, no, I mean, you got to be able to delegate it. I mean, obviously, like my first year, I think I was trying to do too much, and it really weighed down on me, to be honest with you. And I had to do a lot of self reflection. And so this past year, really started to delegate it out. And I had a lot of really good coaches that wanted to help, and that's kind of a
Mm-hmm.
big thing too is, for guys like that I want on my staff, I got guys that want to work, that want to, see the place do great. And so, and they coach other sports too, so they're always involved with our kids. Our kids play everything here, so um, you know, like I was able to delegate out our weight room. I was able to delegate out equipment. Setting up the fields, like just different things that you would think wouldn't matter. At a big place, you got people that can do it for you. But at a small school, it does. It does matter. You got to delegate things out and have people, be able to help out in multiple roles and wear different hats. And so for me, that was big this year, being able to do that, and just try to let people do their job and do it the right way.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, micromanaging is not it. That sounds like you got a good fix on that
Yeah.
going into year two. What does your daily life look like at Lanett, like teaching and stuff? What are you doing there? And like when do y'all start? Oh, and also like I didn't even talk about this, but even planning wise, like we were texting earlier, and you were talking about Central and Eastern time, and I was
Yeah.
telling my wife, I was like, holy crap, I didn't even think about that. So y'all are on Eastern time, which
Yeah.
we'll talk about after that question, but that's a whole nother debacle that
Yeah.
I bet even like playing you, like, Ayrton goes to play you in the first round. Well, you got to leave an hour early to even get there, but we'll get in that in a
Yeah.
second. Tell me about Lanett High School and like your daily life.
Yeah, man. every day. I try to get there every day about 6 o'clock in the morning, Eastern time, and kind of just I help out with the morning duties. Help the principal out with that, and she's awesome for me. So she does a lot for me too. So I try to help out in any way there. But
shout out to good admin.
Oh, admin, man.
Good
Look,
admin.
I'm gonna tell you right now, that's the number one thing you gotta have. You gotta have the admin that's in your corner, and that'll do anything for you. But I then move into teaching. I teach 3 blocks. I teach history. So I have first block. I got government, 12th graders, and econ, and then I move into 10th grade U.S. history. And so it's challenging. I don't get a planning period. I got to go into the weight room and kind of handle that aspect. Football block. Which we're blessed with having that. And
are you running the weight room? Do you run it?
During school hours, I do, yeah.
Okay.
But like during the off season structure, I let our guy that handles that do that. And so but during the year, it's kind of tough. We're kind of spread out a little bit with guys in the high school and the junior high and the elementary, and even volunteers. And so like that's just it's a challenge, but it's doable. But you don't get much of a break, to be honest with you, which is okay. But I get most of that stuff done in the morning time and what needs to be done during the day. But I've got a lot of good guys too. Our basketball coach does a lot for us. He's in the weight room all day. Down in the gym, and so got a lot of help, and just really really blessed with that.
So you're a family man, and you just talked about not having planning. So as a head coach, are you knocking out all your film study and everything like that? Are you a night owl, or what are we doing there?
Yeah, night owl. That would be a really, really good way to look at it. I don't sleep. My wife gives me a hard time about it. She tells me I need to go get like a sleep study, but I just basically have too much on my brain, so I can't really sleep. So
yeah,
it's got to get done sometime. But just I try to knock it out throughout time. If I got to do it on my phone, watching it. Taking kids on recruiting visits while we're there. I'm watching it on my phone or, stuff like that. So, but yeah, I mean, it's just, you got to kind of manage it, but like when I'm home, I'm home, you know what I mean? So, I'm big on that. I shut everything down and, really just kind of focus on, hanging out with my family and you said it too though, but like a lot of places might not do this, but I'm big on bringing your family to work. Like if you got to bring your kids to work, like for me, if my daughter's got to come with me, she's gonna come. And hey, look, we're gonna make it work somehow. And so I tell my coaches that they got a lot of younger kids and stuff like that, so it's been really really good for us.
Yeah, that's really cool, and I tried to strategically do that this year, which Coach Scott is awesome about that. He knows Beckett by name and is really cool about that. But on Mondays, because that ends up being, to me, Mondays are worse than Friday night, like as far as being away from your family, because it's that JV night.
Yeah.
So you're doing the JV game and all that stuff. So I would try to bring Beckett to that Monday practice because it was more of like walkthrough. Wise and not as like bang bang as Tuesday was, but I kind of got to spend some time with him at practice on Monday, so that ended up being really good. So let's keep talking about practice. So you went from 7A to 2A, and you probably had drills in 7A that were really good. That maybe crap, this don't work at a 2A school. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, so like I remember back out at Smith's we would do AB, stuff like that, and a lot of good on good, and we do that a lot too at Lanett, but like when I say good on good, you look up and your left tackle's or your left guard's your best nose guard, and
I know,
But we are blessed, we had a pretty good roster this year as far as like pieces and things like that to really get after it at practice, and I think I was pretty adamant about that this summer going into it, and in the spring we didn't do a spring, we took advantage of the extra week deal. And so it's kind of tough, doing a spring anyway at a small school nowadays. But we took advantage of that early week and jamboree week thing. So, but practice wise for us though is I want to make it as good on good as possible. I was listening to a thing with Coach Saban one time, and he was talking about the only way we're gonna get better is if you got the best guys going against the best, And so that iron sharpens iron thing, I'm big on that. And so. I think for us, practice-wise, though, we do a lot of individual, a lot of pod work, Sometimes you might go back to your high school days with this, but like a half line deal,
Yeah.
it's so I mean, it's just, but you got to get the best out of it, and we've got some really good football players too that are really talented, and they understand concept, and they're really really good football IQ wise because we took advantage of that teaching aspect of it from about January till May, really, to be honest with you, and just teaching ball and different things like that. So we try to knock out a lot of the film things during 4 block, and also after practice if your individual coach wants to do that. But practice wise, we're pretty much on a script, on a schedule. It's bang bang, boom boom. We're out hour and a half. Now playoff wise, it was a little different. Because of the time switch and all that. But just really really try to make it as efficient as possible.
Oh yeah. What time did it get dark for y'all? And when the playoffs were hitting? Because
Maybe
I
Eastern,
got to say
uh,
be an hour
5:30.
ahead. Hey,
Yeah,
people give me the craziest look when I talk to them about that half line thing because that's
yeah,
what we had to do. And that you had to take your right, you run all your plays to the right side,
yeah,
and you take your left side to O line and put them other. You talking about your left guard being the best nose guard
yeah.
and stuff like that.
That's
But
it.
that's efficient, dude.
Yeah.
Did you find yourself, which is I always think this is really cool, just being on Twitter or following one of these other coaches. I'm sitting at home on Thanksgiving, and
Hmm.
some people are practicing on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Did you have to change up like any like ways that you did practice or like different ways of motivating your kids? Because at the end of the day, they're still high school kids. Like you're
Yeah.
competing for that state championship, but not getting them burnt out. What are some ways that you like creative like changed up practice or with them and
Yeah.
the coaches?
I'm big on our kids love practice. Like I'm not gonna say sometimes they don't, but you got to drag them along. But for us though, I mean our whole thing was talking about practicing on Thanksgiving, and we had a really good senior group. They were top tier, and a lot of them are gonna be playing college football, and just they kind of were able to motivate a lot for us. The coaches didn't have to really do much, and I mean, when you look up and you're practicing on Thanksgiving week, that's pretty special. You kind of know it is, and when we got going, I'm big on music, music at practice, and I don't mind that thing blaring inside the stadium.
Mm-hmm.
We got turf and all that up here in the 2A, so we're kind of blessed with a lot of different things, but. I'm big on cutting that music on and letting it play and letting the guys have fun with it, and practice can be boring and monotonous, and I think any way not to have that is really good. But as far as kind of keeping them engaged and stuff during that week, it really wasn't a problem. We kind of got after it pretty good, and obviously it paid off when we were able to defeat the defense state champ.
Heck yeah, dude. So last question, and I won't take any more time. I really appreciate you being on.
Pretty good.
What advice, because you're going into your you're finishing up your second year right now, going into your third year being a head coach. So, and this is the time of year for us coaches where there's been already all these changes.
Yeah.
People are getting their new job and everything. For any head coaches that are out there listening right now, first year guys, what advice would you give to them going into their first year?
Oh man, really just kind of slow down. Enjoy it. It's tough. Hire good people. Hire good people to be around you. If they don't fit your vision and they don't fit what you want, don't be afraid to make a tough decision. And because at the end of the day, your name's on it. As a head coach. And so I think the biggest thing for me though was just kind of prioritizing what I wanted the program to look like, and obviously able to get it to where it was this year. But that first year can always be a challenge, but just I think the one thing that I do regret sometimes is not building leadership like I did this past year, in the off season. I wish I'd have done that a little bit better, to be honest with you, and find ways to develop that with your kids, and just really get to know them. Kind of build that like family camaraderie, just little things like that, man. That'd be the biggest advice.
Coach R.J. McDonald, the Lanett Panthers 2A, went 12-3 this year, contending for the state championship, man. I know y'all going to do big things. Hope you have a great offseason. Thank you for coming on, brother.
Man, Craig, appreciate you, man. It's really an honor. Appreciate what you do, and I appreciate you having me on, man.
Yes, sir.